intelligence and security, at the core of that, is digital. And the relationships that we're pushing through here today have started long before there was the Mana River Union, long before there were MOUs being signed, and it started with people. When you're on the border, when you cross into Guinea or cross back into Sierra Leone, or depending on where you stand, and you pick up a signal from one of the poles, it's not going to ask for your passport, it's not going to ask what language you speak, it's just going to charge you what it feels like charging you. And at the core of this, and why I want us to focus on people, is because it is the people that we serve. It is the people who we create those technologies for. The reason why we're signing this relationship today, yes, we can say it's to drive economic growth, service delivery, and at the core of that, it is for people. So it is bigger than infrastructure, it is bigger than accelerating private sector growth, it is bigger than thinking about markets. It is fundamentally about ensuring that our people are protected, our people are getting fair services, our people are getting quality services, and that the regulations that exist across the border are consistent with each other. The one thing I also want to highlight today is often people go and sign agreements and it takes years before anything happens. You know, Madame la ministre, ici, nous disons que c'est parler et faire, talk and do. Mais aujourd'hui, nous avons fait, et maintenant nous parlons, nous signons des documents très importants. We're not talking and doing. We have done, we will continue to do, and yes, we're creating a framework that will shape that future for us. Sierra Leone and Guinea have long-reach relationships. And while this document will continue to strengthen those ties, we're also hoping that we will expand it beyond just us. I mentioned the security agreement that we signed between Sierra Leone, the intelligence agreement, Sierra Leone, Guinea, and Liberia. The president of Liberia was here a couple of days ago, stayed in this hotel. And in our technical meeting, we learned that Côte d'Ivoire is interested in joining that memorandum as well. I do want to encourage both ministers that while we're doing this, that you can think about within the Mana River Union how you can extend the agreement, the framework, to include Liberia and to include Côte d'Ivoire. And I know that our bilateral relations exist between those countries, but we must work together as a collective. I want to speak a little bit about our one government and how our one government policy. At the table, we see the Member of Parliament, we see the DG of NATCA, we see very technical people, we see all the telcos who are in here. When we speak about one government, one people, we really expect that the telco, the corporation, who are citizens, all work together with government on a shared vision. And that vision is the medium-term national development plan. There are values that shape that vision. A core value for how we work is inclusion. It's radical inclusion, as you spoke about. Doesn't matter who you are, where you are, what language you speak, what gender, what tribe. The telco services are for everybody. And just last week, I got reports from the telcos that they are working in rural areas, places that business sense does not make, there's no business value for them to go invest thousands of dollars to put poles. The Universal Access Development Fund is also there creating access in places where we just want our people to be connected. So radical inclusion is in theory. Working to bring Starlink and universal connectivity to work with our telcos is in theory. These are commitments that we as a government have, that no matter where our citizens are, no matter their languages, no matter whether they can read or not, they can and should have access to some of the best technologies. So we are one government, we are one people, and we are one country. When we speak about the Big Five, we speak about the Big Five as championed by His Excellency in fundamentally practical ways. It's not theory. And within this agreement, it is bigger than the rates are important, how much we pay, roaming is important. But the agreement is much bigger than roaming. The agreement is much bigger than harmonizing those monies as important as they are. Which is why when it becomes public and you read it, and you learn during the media that it is fundamental in how our two countries are going to develop robust digital networks for our people. President Bill puts that in the infrastructure and technology elements of the Big Five. Human capital development is so fundamental for us that we believe that technology is a critical component for how all of our citizens can access education. I was in Douazak the other day. Douazak has only primary school. And in Douazak, they do have technology and devices that are rolled out for those children who leave up those hills to access quality education like anybody would in any of the private schools. That is the power of human capital development that we will continue to invest in people. And I'm only going to highlight this because His Excellency spent a lot of time speaking about this yesterday. People don't like talking about age, usually. Our minister from Guinea is 40. She was 37 when she became a minister. Our minister from Sierra Leone will be 34. She was 32 when she became a minister. Our deputy minister will also be 33, 34 this year. And we mention these things not because it is such a big deal, but we live in a country where the median age is 19. And if you look at this table, you will see from the MP to the DG to everybody who's here that they are young, they are vibrant, they are energetic. And if you look in the room and look at the person next to you as well, you will also see that that's reflected. And if we do not invest in human capital, the people who are the future of our country, if they are not central in the investments that we are making, then we are making a really big mistake for not ourselves, but our children and grandchildren. Revamping the public sector architecture and creating jobs is also a critical element that we believe this partnership and relationship goes to. Now, you can dig deeper into the agreement and you learn about cybercrime, connection, and all of these things that are essential for our country. I want to pause and speak about the team that we have, NATCA and the Ministry of Communication. Madam Minister, permit me, because I have heard there's some silly distraction by people who are saying that the Ministry of Communication isn't delivering. Now, this is not a response to those people, because the evidence speaks for itself. The number of people who have 3G in this country is about 100%. It wasn't like that in 2018, and it wasn't like that in 2023. There's nowhere in this country that you will go today where you don't have access to internet through Starlink and the relationships that we have. And the reason why Starlink and 3G matter is because your grandmother in La Comasama or in Sulima or in Fuendu can have a video call with you. We're not saying that the quality of service is always great, but those times when you're not complaining, it's because there's improved quality of service. So I want to thank the telcos, and we'll keep pushing you. We expect that your quality of service goes higher, but we see we're not giving you a pass. We recognize the investments that you're making, that you've made. We recognize the investments that have gone through to bring fiber all over the country. But it is not cool. It doesn't make you a cool guy, big guy, to sit somewhere and just say, that's not happening in this country, yeah? And the ministry know they work, and the people they know they work. Because you just sue Granny and video call. We sue Granny and video call. If you tell God thank you, tell President Bill thank you, and tell the ministry and the people in the thank you. It is your right. But we should recognize that our rights, and the people who are working for our rights, also are doing the right thing for you. We don't castigate them. We don't go and fabricate rumors and falsehoods about them. That's not how you get quality service. In this country, over the last year, not just has the ministry and partners facilitated the training of trainers of over 100 people, they have actually trained over 12,000 young people across this country to be able to get digital skills, to participate in the digital economy. Whose kind bad hats you will get now for you begin costing? Why? Where? Why? And it was important for me that I say this because I just saw this roaming around between yesterday and today. This is not what leadership is. This is not what our responsibility as citizens are. The young people who you see here in these ministries, we see all of them, the vibrant people who we see here, are working to serve us. And as we create these relationships, we must not undermine them because we are individually selfish sometimes because you don't benefit to say you know the work, or because there's a power cut or a break somewhere, it's a system not the work. And maybe I'm not your typical politician because I tell it back to you as you should hear it. The ministry has built Felicity, and we want to thank all the partners who are involved, and I know that some of the people who are in the private sector are going to put amazing data storage and other facilities in there. And we know that fiber is in all districts now, in 14 districts, and we are going to continue to expand fiber because we're not just going to rely on one source of connectivity. And thank the ministry for having worked to bring some resources through the ADB to ensure that there can be investments there. I want to thank the Member of Parliament for his commitment to the ministry. And I want to use this opportunity. This wasn't my idea, what I'm going to say now. It was an idea from somebody who's in this room, who suggested to me that maybe you should work with these people to ratify this in Parliament. And I think it's a great idea. That's what good leadership is. That people can be in this room, they have ideas, they stand it to their leaders, and their leaders make commitments to it. Not people say, oh no, it's not better said, I just know they can't sign, and that's not for commodity. So I want to thank the person who sent that message to me while I was sitting up there. And I want to use this opportunity, Honorable Member, to invite you to consider working with the ministry to lay this framework in Parliament because it is that important. Same to you, Madam Minister. We're not going to achieve these things if we do not work with the private sector. And so I want to invite the private sector who's here to also own it. We're not forcing you. We will create the platform for you to make money responsibly without making our people poorer. Because if our people are wealthy and keep a lot more money, then they'll spend more money. Earlier this morning, I went to launch the Consumer Protection Commission for Sierra Leone. And I know because I engage and interact with this a lot. And when I do, they say, I did defend the telco then. I didn't defend telco because they're fool or because they pay me, they pay me. I did defend what the government did. because we all need to work together for make sure say the services that did it. And although they do that, they can course and lie. So I do want to encourage you, and I want to assure you that the government is ready to hold your feet to the fire so we can accelerate development. We want you to do more. We expect you to do more. The Consumer Protection Aid Commission exists, and people will complain, and when they complain, we'll come to you, and we will expect that your downtime for your services and your quality of services should be optimized, because that's our commitment to the people. I can go on and on and on and speak much longer, but I must not. So I want to end by saying that today represents a major milestone for our nation. I am confident that this agreement will be a catalyst for growth, innovation, and prosperity. We will move forward, united by purpose and inspired by the power of collaboration. Nous allons les délivrer. Ensemble, nous livrerons. Together, we will deliver. Thank you.